Hi kids, welcome to another English class. In this time we are going to talk about Unit 6, a long time ago. That means how was the things in the past. You will need your books and your notebook. Ready? Let's start. We are going to start with the vocabulary, so please open your student's book on page 90. We are going to compare how were some things a long time ago and how are things nowadays. The first one. People now travel in cars. A long time ago, people traveled by horse and buggy. Now, repeat please. Now people travel in cars. Long time ago, people traveled by horse and buggy. Now people wash the clothes in washing machine. Before, people washed clothes by hand. Repeat. Now people wash the clothes in a washing machine. Before, people washed clothes by hand. Now people have a cell phone. Before, people had a phone with an operator. Please repeat. Now people have a cell phone. Before, people had a phone with an operator. Now people have electric lights. Before, people has oil lamps. Please repeat. Now people have electric lights. Before, people has oil lamps. Now people cook in a microwave. And before, people cooked in a coal stove. Repeat. Now people cook in a microwave. And before, people cooked on a coal stove. Now people listen to a MP3 player. Before, people listened to the radio. Repeat. Now people listen to a MP3 player. Before, people listen to the radio. We are going to start with some grammar. First, we are going to learn the structure to make questions about information in the past. We are going to use did plus subject plus verb in base form plus complement. For example, did they have telephones in 1950? And we have two possible short answers. If the answer is affirmative, the structure will be yes plus subject plus did. If the answer is negative, the structure will be no plus subject plus didn't. For example, yes, they did, or no, they didn't. Para iniciar con la gramática, vamos a aprender acerca de la estructura para hacer preguntas acerca de información en el pasado. Vamos a iniciar con did, luego el sujeto, luego el verbo en su forma base, más el complemento, más el signo de interrogación. Por ejemplo, did they have telephones in 1950? Y para esto tenemos dos posibles respuestas cortas. Si la respuesta es afirmativa, la estructura será yes más el sujeto más did. Y si la respuesta es negativa, la estructura será no más el sujeto más didn't. Por ejemplo, yes, they did o no, they didn't. Continuing with the grammar, now we are going to learn about used to. This is used to express something we did in the past but don't do now. We have affirmative, negative sentences, and questions. First, in affirmative sentences, the structure will be subject plus used to plus verb in base form plus complement. For example, my grandpa used to walk to the school. In negative sentences, the structure will be subject plus didn't plus use. Pay attention here because it's used, not used, plus verb in base form plus complement. For example, he didn't used to ride a bike. And for question, the structure will be did plus subject plus used to plus verb in simple form plus complement. For example, did people used to listen to MP3 players? Ahora hablaremos de la gramática used to. Se utiliza para describir algo que hacemos en el pasado, pero ya no más. Tenemos 3 tipos de oraciones: afirmativa, negativa y pregunta. Para una oración afirmativa vamos a tener la siguiente estructura: sujeto más used to más el verbo en su forma base más el complemento. Por ejemplo, my grandpa used to walk to school. Para las oraciones negativas, la estructura sería sujeto más didn't used to. Aquí hay que poner mucha atención porque es used to, no used to, como lo hacemos en la oración afirmativa. Más el verbo en forma simple más el complemento. Por ejemplo, he didn't used to ride a bike. Y para las preguntas tenemos la siguiente estructura: did más sujeto más used to más verbo en forma simple más complemento. Por ejemplo, did people used to listen to MP3 players? And more grammar. But now we are going to learn about past continuous. It is used to express actions that were interrupted or to express parallel actions. In affirmative sentences, we are going to follow the next structure: subject plus was if the subject is I, she, he, or it, or were if the subject is you, they, or we, plus verb in ing form plus complement. For example, she was swimming. In negative sentences, we are going to use the next structure: subject plus wasn't or weren't, plus verb in ing form plus complement. For example, they weren't playing tennis. For questions, the structure is was or were plus subject plus verb in ing form plus complement plus question mark. For example, was she sleeping? And we are going to have 2 possible answers. For affirmative answer, the structure will be yes plus subject plus was or were. And for negative answers, the structure will be no plus subject plus wasn't or weren't. Seguiremos con más gramática, pero ahora vamos a hablar del pasado continuo. Es utilizado para expresar acciones que sucedieron en el pasado y fueron interrumpidas, o para expresar acciones que sucedieron de manera paralela. Esto quiere decir al mismo tiempo. Y tenemos 3 tipos de oraciones: afirmativa, negativa y pregunta. Para la oración afirmativa, la estructura será sujeto más was si nuestro sujeto es I, she, he o it, o were si nuestro sujeto es you, they o we, más el verbo en la forma ing. Esto quiere decir que el verbo termina en ing, más el complemento. Por ejemplo, she was swimming. Para las oraciones negativas vamos a necesitar sujeto y, dependiendo del sujeto, wasn't o weren't, más el verbo en la forma ing más el complemento. Por ejemplo, they weren't playing tennis. Y para las preguntas vamos a iniciar con was o were según sea el caso de nuestro sujeto, más el verbo en la forma ing más el signo de interrogación. Por ejemplo, was she sleeping? Y aquí vamos a tener 2 posibles respuestas, una afirmativa y una negativa. Para la afirmativa, la estructura será yes más el sujeto más was o were. En este caso sería yes, she was. Y para la respuesta negativa sería no más el sujeto más wasn't o weren't. En este caso sería no, she wasn't. Now we are going to learn about writing, especially about quotation. Quotation come in pairs, and you put them around the words that people say. For example, I had a great time at my grandpa's house, said Jaime. Did they watch TV in 1930s? He asked. Ahora hablaremos acerca de la escritura, especialmente de las comillas. Las comillas vienen en pares y las escribimos alrededor de las palabras que las personas dicen. Por ejemplo, I had a great time at my grandpa's house, said Jaime. Entonces las comillas la tenemos al inicio de la oración y al final de la oración, que fue lo que dijo Jaime. Now we are going to start with the activities. So you will need your workbook. Ahora vamos a empezar con las actividades y para esto vas a necesitar tu workbook. Open your workbook on page 74, exercise 1. Here you have to match the name of the activity with the image. For example, letter L, travel by car, match with the first image. So now please complete the exercise. Por favor, abre tu workbook en la página 74, ejercicio 1. Aquí tenemos que relacionar el nombre de la actividad con la imagen. Por ejemplo, la letra L, travel by car, se une con la primera imagen. Ahora, por favor, complete el ejercicio. Next activity is page 78, exercise 9. Here we have to complete the questions and answer them using used to. For example, number 1. Before computers, how blank keep in touch? The answer will be did people. Remember the structure that is on slide 9 or in your student's book. Let's continue with the exercise. Letter B, they blank. Now we are going to write the structure of used to. So the answer will be, they used to write letters. La siguiente actividad es la página 78, ejercicio 9. Aquí tenemos que completar las preguntas y después responderlas utilizando la estructura del used to. Por ejemplo, número 1. Before computers, how, espacio en blanco, keep in touch. La respuesta sería, did people. Recuerda la estructura que está en la slide 9 o en tu libro de texto. Ahora, continuando con el ejercicio, letra B, they, espacio en blanco, y ahora vamos a escribir la estructura del used to. Entonces, nuestra respuesta sería, they used to write letters. Ahora, por favor, termina el ejercicio. Now, page 81, exercise 16. Here we are going to complete the sentences with past continuous. For example, number 2, at 9 o'clock, Mrs. Cross, blank, put clothes in her washing machine. The answer will be, was putting. So please complete the exercise. Exercise 17. We have to create sentences with the past continuous using the information given. For example, in number 2, look the information. The dog was not barking loudly. The dog was going for a walk. So the sentence will be, at 12 a.m., the dog was going for a walk. It wasn't barking loudly. Please finish the exercise. Ahora, página 81, ejercicio 16. Aquí vamos a completar las oraciones utilizando la estructura del pasado continuo. Para esto hay que completar las oraciones con el verbo que se da entre paréntesis. Por ejemplo, at 9 o'clock, Mrs. Cross, espacio en blanco, put clothes in her washing machine. La respuesta sería was putting. Ahora, por favor, termina el ejercicio. Ejercicio 17. Ahora tenemos que crear oraciones con el pasado continuo utilizando la información dada. Por ejemplo, en el número 2 hay que ver la información y nos dice que el perro no estaba ladrando fuerte, sino que el perro estaba yendo por un paseo. Entonces, la respuesta o la oración nos quedaría como at 12 a.m. the dog was going for a walk. It wasn't barking loudly. Ahora, por favor, termina el ejercicio. Next activity is page 82, exercise 18. Here we have to put in order the words to create questions using past continuous. For example, number 1, what you do at 10 p.m. last night. The answer will be, what were you doing at 10 p.m. last night? Other example, number 2. You watched TV at 8 a.m. yesterday morning. The answer will be, were you watching TV at 8 a.m. yesterday morning? Now, please finish the exercise. La siguiente actividad es la página 82, ejercicio 18. Aquí tenemos que poner las palabras en orden para crear preguntas utilizando el pasado continuo. Por ejemplo, número 1, what you do at 10 p.m. last night. La respuesta nos quedaría, what were you doing at 10 p.m. last night? Otro ejemplo, you watched TV at 8 a.m. yesterday morning. La respuesta nos quedaría, were you watching TV at 8 a.m. yesterday morning? Ahora, por favor, termina el ejercicio. Last activity is page 85, exercise 25 and 26. Exercise 25. Put the quotation marks in the correct places. For example, number 1. Did they watch movies in 1920s? He asked. The answer will be, quotation mark, did they watch movies in the 1920s? Quotation mark, he asked. Now please finish the exercise. Exercise 26. Rewrite these sentences. Use said or asked in quotation marks. For example, quotation marks, how did people travel in 1905? Quotation mark, it asked. Now please finish the exercise. Última actividad, página 85, ejercicio 25 y ejercicio 26. En el ejercicio 25 tenemos que escribir las comillas en el lugar correcto. Por ejemplo, did they watch movies in 1920s? He asked. La respuesta nos quedaría, vamos a escribir las comillas antes de did y después del signo de interrogación. En el ejercicio 26 tenemos que escribir de nuevo las oraciones utilizando said or ask y las comillas. Por ejemplo, una respuesta nos quedaría, comillas, how did people travel in 1905? Question mark, comillas, it asked. Ahora, por favor, termina el ejercicio. And we finish our class. Thank you. Bye bye.